Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We are also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we're talking about Jim Beam's Winter Reserve Bourbon. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Von Nieters, Luke Catero, Darren McElroy, and maybe even some comments from Royce Neely.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Can't wait to do it. Yeah. So what's up, gang? You guys doing all right?
Hey there, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Doing good, doing good. All right, we're going to be talking about Jim Beam's Winter Reserve Bourbon. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, Beka said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, Beka?
So I was driving home today from my stint in St. Louis.
Yep.
And I was listening to another podcast. I switched between two, either the Bourbon Daily or Criminal is another podcast I listen to.
Sure.
And they were talking about the controversy around margarine spread. So, or just margarine. Do you guys know that do you know anything about margarine?
I don't really. Isn't it just made of like oil or something? And
It's plant-based instead of animal-based, and it's used as a replacement for butter.
So it was created because Napoleon III, who was a descendant of Napoleon, wanted someone to come up with a replacement for butter because he was scared that the French would get into war and they wouldn't be able to have butter.
Okay.
And he was very concerned about that as a Frenchman, obviously. And so mandarin was created.
Margarine.
Or margarine. I'm sorry, margarine. Mandarin. I don't want to say Mandarin. I was thinking about the Chinese.
The language, Chinese language.
Yeah, sorry, margarine was created.
They didn't start speaking until Napoleon came up with this margarine idea.
It's called Mandarin. Margarine, excuse me. I've been driving all day and drinking after.
Sure.
Sorry, guys.
Right.
But it was actually such a controversial thing in the United States because of the fact that they didn't, the milk industry was worried about it overtaking butter itself.
Sure.
And this became such a big deal that there was propaganda that went out about margarine. You were not allowed to color it because they didn't want them to color it the same color as butter.
Right.
Because they didn't want it, they wanted it to look off-putting, right? And so yellow margarine was banned in Wisconsin up until 1967.
Really?
I'm surprised it's still not banned, actually, in Wisconsin.
Well, it still is.
It
It still is in some places. You cannot, it is illegal to serve that as a replacement for butter in any sort of restaurant, school, or the jail.
I wonder if companies that made margarine and still make margarine today had like different offerings for Wisconsin when it was illegal to have that. Like they had a white margarine. They
had the white one.
There was like yellow everywhere else, but white there.
Yeah, they had the white and they dyed it pink. People were illegally smuggling it into Wisconsin. An actual sheriff was arrested A warrant went out for his arrest because he smuggled it into the state. The yellow.
That's ridiculous.
I want to talk about just to Luke now about this topic. I grew up, of course, in the 70s and 80s, and we only had margarine. We were not a house that had butter. We never had butter. My mom would have butter like around Christmas for the holidays, like at Thanksgiving dinner, and then to make cookies with. And then by the time Christmas rolled around, we'd have it there, and then it'd be done, and then it's all margarine. I didn't like that stuff, and as an adult, I've never had margarine in my house. I don't. We're only butter where I live now, and I think for the most part, unlike the 70s where everyone had margarine, Darren's saying it's still more popular. Maybe it is. I don't know. I just don't know of anybody that I know that uses margarine now. There's nobody I know. Maybe there's people, and maybe large scale there is, but everyone I know uses butter.
Mm-hmm. Growing up, Steve, we all had butter.
You had butter. You weren't a margarine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Margarine was rare, except when it came to holiday cooking, I guess. But
you were the reverse of my house. We had the butter.
That's how our house was too, Luke. We used it for cooking stuff, and that was it. What we like. That was like we'd like cover the pan with that because it was like better for like just greasing stuff up.
Right.
Yeah.
Softer too. Softer than butter.
And then there was also other things like baking stuff that's what we used instead of butter was margarine.
It's more oily.
Yeah, it is more.
Yeah. Yeah. So to this day, we're a butter house. I mean,
and then what's funny is it was created because of the fact they were worried about losing butter because of war, but then in the United States during World War II, you couldn't get butter.
Right.
So they did actually switch over to a lot of margarine, and there's actually a whole there's an ad, like a radio ad from Roosevelt's wife. I can't remember her name. Eleanor, and she's talking about how great margarine is. Margarine. But there was a whole there was an entire brigade of women who were up in Wisconsin fighting to get it legalized again because people did like to use it and it was cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And they were up there and they were but people went to jail over over this, especially the colored stuff. That was the thing. They're like, you cannot color it. Absolutely not, because it needs to look as off-putting as possible. So no one wants to use it. But they literally had a propaganda machine about that. And I was just listening to it and they'd call it the devil's spread. But that was, I thought that was the funniest
that one
thing.
Once.
How often that this crazy stuff happens and things get demonized so often that it was fucking margarine.
Can you imagine if you're in prison? So what are you in for? I was smuggling whiskey.
Margarine.
What are you in for? I was smuggling tobacco. What are you in for? I was smuggling margarine.
Yeah, it was like a $5,000 fine and up to a year in jail.
Really?
Crazy shit over that.
Margarine.
But in Wisconsin, because they were the biggest, dairy producer, is why it was such a big deal up there.
Yeah.
But I do remember people just being like, "Oh God, absolutely not! That stuff is terrible," and it was is it as horrible as I remember? I never used it because I did also get influenced by that propaganda machine about how terrible it was.
Yeah.
So Steve, were you using Blue Bonnet margarine?
Yeah, Blue Bonnet. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Ours was Crisco.
I grew up with the Country Crock.
Country Crock,
which is actually not either, which is what I was looking at.
It's
not butter and it's not margarine. So
it's Country Crock.
Well, I looked it up, and that when I looked at margarine, that was one of the things it said it was. So maybe I'm wrong.
It's closer to margarine.
41% plant, and I don't
know.
I tell you what, I always want to strive to, but I never get there because it is more expensive. But I like that Irish butter, that's in the paper.
Kerrygold?
Yeah, Kerrygold. It's in the paper. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I want. But
have you ever had it?
Yeah, I've had it. Every once in a while, I'll treat myself and get that. The warden doesn't like that because it's too expensive in her mind. To me, it's worth it. It's good. It's good. So maybe
I don't know if I've ever actually had it before.
Oh, it's worth getting at least once and just checking it out. Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, that was my butter topic.
Butter topic. Yeah.
Good one.
That's a good one. Well, there you
It's
go.
an interesting one, at least. Just if you want to look it up, it's on
There's actually history there. This could be a whole nother
on
podcast.
the criminal podcast called The Devil's Spread, and it's only a 30-minute long episode, but I thought it was very interesting.
So it's not all just about people killing people. Sometimes it's like
No,
butter.
it's just about criminals, or criminal activity in general, or things that were deemed criminal activity at some point. So like this was, like the sheriff smuggling it in, and like just people going to jail or about to go to jail, and just a crazy, kind of BS behind it.
Yeah.
So it's another good podcast. It's nice to switch back and forth between the Bourbon Daily and Criminal.
There you go. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Darren. Looks like he's ready to go.
I got some Rye 3 light whiskey from the ABV Barrel Shop.
Nice. Okay. Not much there. Not much life left in that cork, that's for sure. But it is our lead right now. All right. We're going to have Beka go next. Beka, what do you got there?
I have got
plastic off?
some Kentucky Peerless here.
Okay.
This is the Absinthe Barrel.
Okay. You got this because you worked at the ABV Barrel Shop. Royce got you a bunch of treats, so that's cool. Yeah,
Thank God, because I was running out of whiskey.
Yes. Yeah. He's a good man there. He's a good man. I'll tell you what.
I was running low.
Thank you.
Okay, that was good. That was good. Could be beat, but we'll see. Definitely the lead right now. I've got 1792 full proof. This is a store pick. Jeremy Shell actually got this one for me, so let's see what we got here. Ooh, that was nice. Oh, that's close. Luke, who has? Oh, you know what? Royce here. He's a neutral judge. Who has the lead, Beka or me? Kind of neutral judge, kind of.
Beka.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I was going to award it to myself.
Royce. Good
I was-
job.
I was going to award it to myself, but we know once a judge is involved, you have to abide by that decision. There's no appeal process from there. I'm going to allow that to happen.
Almost
and
a clean sweep tonight for me.
I'm also going to say that Royce made the right decision for peace and hope in his own house. I think he did good there. So I support Royce in that decision. So good. All right, Luke, here's where we're at. Beka has the lead, but you haven't gone yet, so what do you got?
I've got Heaven Hill grain to glass. This is the weeded bourbon.
Okay, that was nice, but not enough. And you got a little sloshy there, a little poor form, so it's not enough to take over Beka. She has the lead, but one last competitor left, and that is Von Nieters. Von Nieters, what do you got there?
Well, as usual, I'm sticking to the theme of the show. Jim Beam Winter Reserve Screw Top.
Oh, nice. Is that from this
There you
year
go.
or previous year?
This is from this year.
This year. This is a fresh crack. Okay.
Well,
Nice.
no,
Well, yeah, it's fresh from this year. You've already drank some, obviously.
Yeah.
At least you'll be able to talk about it for us.
Yeah.
I've never tried this, so that was part of the show. Is there something to this? So that, don't tell us about it. We'll talk about that after the break when we come back.
right.
For right now, though, we'll say cheers to Von Nieters. No, to Beka. Sorry.
Beka.
Jesus.
No,
I step in it all the time.
Remember when
I cannot
you
help
called
myself.
out Darren for accidentally saying Von Nieters for his hashtag, and you're like, I would never screw up a name.
Oh God.
I remember that. This was just
but I never.
an hour and a half ago, Steve.
That's screwing up. I never said that his identity is mine, though, online. I mean, to me, that's a difference between screwing up two people there. There's a difference between.
I know. Me and Von Nieters do look scarily similar.
The exact same, actually, some say.
No. He wins a lot because he usually does fresh cracks and then wins. And I was thinking fresh crack, and then it was a screw top, though. I can't.
Not a fresh crack.
I can't argue my way out of this one. I clearly made a mistake there. So what are you going to do? It happens. It happens. At least I didn't say margarine and Mediterranean. I didn't get those.
I did do that. We talked about this on a podcast
Mandarin.
literally on Friday when I talked on a podcast 2 days ago with you, Steve. I said I fuck up talking all the time.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
I just could stop that sentence at I fuck up all the time. So
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Fair enough. So
Cheers.
cheers to Beka. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about Jim Beam's Winter Reserve. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show. Solid cork pop.
And then I threw the cork.
Solid cork drop.
Yeah, terrible cork pop. Hello, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, and you are listening to the Bourbon Daily. I'm a big bourbon guy.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about Jim Beam's Winter Reserve.
Yes, we are. So, this is an interesting one to me, somewhat. I don't typically get real excited about the new Beam things and stuff like that, because they're pretty cheap, and I tend to drink higher proof. But this one, I thought, man, there might be a play here, and that's why I decided to do a show about it. And haven't tasted it yet, haven't seen it. Apparently, it's out in the market already. I haven't caught that. It's a 6-year-old product on the rich notes of vanilla, cinnamon, and subtle undertones of clove in the palate, along with a long, luxurious finish, is what they say. 86 proof, $25 is the suggested retail price. And my point was, around the holidays, we found, and I think it may have been started by Beka, I'm not sure how I got turned on to this, but the idea of the crock pot and then having things going, and it adds nice smells to the house during the house. And I thought, you know what? Sometimes like mulled wine and things like that are cool, in the crock pot. I thought maybe this might be a thing around the holidays you put in the crock pot, and would it be good to drink in that manner? So warm it up a little bit. I thought this might fall into it. There might be just enough there, but again, it would be based on initially having to taste it and then talking about it. So, Nieters, you're drinking it right now. What's your review of how this thing actually tastes versus the notes out from the company that's putting it out there? What are you getting on this thing?
So, I mean, it's so what makes it special is it's finished in new toasted white oak barrel.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
That's what's
not even in the notes here, so I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
That, yeah.
Well, that's what's on the bottle, and that's
cool.
what
Yeah. Okay.
is special about it. And it's an 86 proof, a little bit higher than the regular 80 proof.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, we're all used to higher proofs, so it's hard to judge to a certain extent.
Okay. What about the idea, and you haven't tried this yet, but what about the idea of heating it up? Do you think it'd be conducive to that? Because this is also a situation where you're looking at kind of drinking all day. We have a lot of open house type of parties and things like that. Things are going on all day. And you don't necessarily want to be drinking 115 proof bourbon when you know you're going to be drinking bell to bell. Could this be something where it's a gentle warm up to it, kind of add some notes and ambiance into the house? It's kind of festive and also is something good that you can drink and offer to partiers as they're there.
Yeah, I definitely think so, and I think it would also do really well in maybe some like fall cocktails. You know, maybe
Okay.
maybe you're making a hot toddy. This would maybe be good in that, or heck, maybe even try it. I know you like to use a little bit higher proof in your eggnog, but this might be
Right.
good in some eggnog too. Even
Okay. I want to get Royce's take on this. This is an interesting one because it just shows the power of a beam and what they can do based on their size. I mean, Royce, think about this. This is a 6-year-old product that has been basically, it has not only the barrel it was in, but then a finishing barrel as well. It's pretty crazy to think about that they can then come out with that for $25, isn't it? Retail price, $25.
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. It really goes to show like how nimble Beam is becoming.
Yes.
And what products they can come out with Freddie No, not that Fred's not still at the helm, but with Freddie No starting to take the helm of Jim Beam. And I think that, this is starting to showcase once again more of his creativity and Beam's willingness to, like I said, be nimble and put out new products.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's really cool to see what's happening at Beam with Freddie No being there, because again, it's hard to be nimble when you're a company that size. But I think they realize they got the real deal with Freddie No. They've got the real deal going on there, and we need to take and when he talks, we need to listen and not just dictate this is how things are going to be. And yeah, you start seeing cool stuff like this come out because Beam for somebody in like your role, Royce, is like having access to an amusement park. I would think. I mean, you can their size and the inventory that they have, and then like I said, to be able to come up with something like this and keep it under $25 is just amazing.
It is, absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely agree. I mean, difficult, once again, because, there's so many different layers to bring a product to market when you're a large distillery like that. I mean, it takes a lot to be able to bring a new product, out there and get it, especially at $25.
Right.
A lot of hands have touched, you know what I mean? This has went through a lot of layers at Jim Beam to be able to pass to where they say, yep, we're ready to put this out.
Yeah.
And that shows
Yeah.
how much they, believe in what Freddie's doing.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of this now. I think Jim Beam is doing a fantastic job. Out of all the big guys, they're doing the best job of really embracing that like craft culture, although they're a
Right.
major distillery.
Yeah. Yeah. It's neat to see. I think we're at and we're just at the beginning of it still. This is still the start of the Freddie No era, and it's cool. And it's kind of cool that we're in such a neat time where both him and his father are working together side by side. I mean, how great is that? And we know what Fred brings to the table. You guys were just at an event where Fred's at, and Fred just kills. He slays at any sort of event, talking, speaking, engagement. There's maybe nobody funnier than that guy to have at an event,
Fred No embodies bourbon. Like that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fred No is bourbon. There's no
Yes.
other way to put it. I love that they use his quote now, drink it any damn way you want.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that, Fred No, that when you think of bourbon, that's Fred, that's Fred No.
Right.
And all the way to his voice, man. I mean, Fred No
Yeah.
is the voice of bourbon.
yeah. Bourbon's a non-living entity, but if it had a voice, it would sound like Fred No, I think.
Bourbon was alive, it'd be Fred No.
Exactly. And enough has passed through Fred No. It's damn close to being alive at this
It
point.
would be drunk, it would be cussing, and it would be Fred No.
Yeah, yeah.
I will say in that warming it up kind of aspect, Steve, I think that like probably with, and I haven't tasted it, but I would assume that like in a crock pot with some like apple cider would probably
Right.
be really good.
Yes.
But also like you can make a stronger mulled wine. Like it doesn't have to just be wine. You can add in different stuff to it. And I bet that it would probably be good with mulled wine and add in some more spices, but it'd probably just complement it like really well. Just have
Yeah.
a little bit more of a
I
stronger
think you could get
mulled
creative
wine.
with this at the holidays, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, the value is not only just the fact that you have something good to drink, it adds such a great smell in the house. And like I said, I've been doing this for years now, since Beka told me to do this, utilizing a crock pot just for potpourri type of stuff. And my kid and I kind of get into this thing where we try to figure out what's the best recipes and stuff like that, because she likes doing it too. So that's one of the things that she does like. So, yeah.
This would be a good one to try.
Yeah.
So
That,
I
that
have not
spiced
had
apple,
this
or
release
that
yet.
spiced pear is like that's the.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's that pretty
Ooh.
much just like that.
I really hope Jim Beam listens to this and they start coming up with these like really badass cocktails to put at the bar, because that's why I was going over to get this. Fred No gave us this challenge coin when I was at the Icons of Bourbon dinner, and that gets us a free drink at the bar anytime we go to Jim Beam. So I'm looking forward to utilizing this. We'll try it for this.
That is kick-ass.
That's Beka,
Yeah,
show us again on the side so we can see how thick. It looks like it's pretty thick, isn't it?
And it's not just thick; it actually says it has all the beans.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, cool.
Oh,
It's got the master distillers on the side. So yeah.
Really honored. He presented this to me and Brent Elliott at the same time, so I thought that was really cool.
Would you mind just giving that to me? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll order your cocktail because which to me, one of the greatest honors ever is your absinthe is being used when they're doing a Sazerac. So anytime I go there, I'm going to order a Sazerac. So now I can just get them for free. I'll just be like, yeah, Sazerac, please.
It was cool at the dinner. Have you guys seen Freddie do the ham lucias now?
Yes, yeah, online. I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen it.
And
Yeah,
it's cool, but
that's cool.
man, Fred was like dying to get me up there to do this ham loose. I'm like, Fred, I have to drive home from Bardstown tonight. I have to drive. He's like, you'll be fine, Neely. Just go on up there. I should have went. Honestly, I should have went.
You should have went. You should have
I
went. You were
sat
too
there
guarded.
for a second, and I was like, "I'm probably sober enough to drive us home."
Becca
I
wasn't-
can't see out of my eyes.
Becca was hanging out with Steve Nally's wife.
Me and Donna got trashed.
Donna and Becca got trashed.
Another Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
and we got fucking lit up.
Steve Nally's awesome, but Donna might be better, honestly. I really enjoyed my time with
Donna
her.
was super cool.
Donna was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to this, heat it up, smell it all winter long.
I think it's got a lot of potential for different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eggnog.
Yeah. I think so too.
Hot toddy. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve, you and Royce kind of touched on the point of like how much fun things that Beam can do, and kind of like I don't know if you guys have had it. Their summer blend that they had this year that included a rice recipe. Which,
Matter of fact, I have, and I was going to bring that up.
yeah,
you go.
I had brought it up to the shop one day and had let Darren try it, and it's like the regular 80 proof, but it's blended with a rice recipe, and it's the things that they can do is,
And it's so light and nice, and it goes great. I would imagine in a highball, and like it is summertime whiskey. It's not deep dark flavors, and they did a really good job of capturing that with the summer whiskey.
Cool
Even
thing,
though
too,
it being
about that
80
rice
proof,
recipe.
but I have faith that they could do that same thing with this winter release
Okay.
and go for a different flavor profile
Yeah.
with a little bit more rice, spice, and toast.
We should probably get a couple cases of this in the shop too, as people come in and want to try that.
The
But,
rice
what were you saying,
recipe
Royce?
goes back- Yeah, that's Jerry Dalton barrels.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I was going to throw in there. I mean, just really cool. That kind of plays back into Jerry Dalton and what he, the innovation that he did while he was at Beam at the helm.
Yeah. You name another person that was creating whiskey with rice in it, American whiskey before Jerry Dalton. Jerry Dalton he's the godfather of all that stuff, that experimenting and doing all the different things. Like I said, so many craft distillers we see doing that stuff today. He was doing that at Jim Beam, in the the 90s. So that's crazy to think about. And because he wanted to do it, he had that sort of mind where it's like, I want to make something with triticale and all these different unique grains and things like that. So yeah, it's cool.
I love that Beam embraces him too. You know what I mean? They're proud of it. They love the aspect of creativity, and they're utilizing his whiskey, for
Yeah. Yeah, he deserves that recognition for sure. So it's good to see it's happening. So very cool. Well, there you go. There's a little bit about that one. You can pick them up, $25. Be on the lookout for it. We're going to get some at the ABV Barrel Shop. We'll have some. We'll put it on our oddity shelf. It'll be cool. And you can never go wrong with a couple cases of a $25 bottle. I mean, how do you lose on that? So it'll be there, and we'll have it, and it'll be good for fall cocktails and stuff like that. So there you go. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Von Nieters, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
you can find me on Instagram at Von Nieters.
All right, Darren.
You can find me on Instagram at the Bourbon Adventures.
All right, Luke.
You can find me on LinkedIn and at Santa Fe Boutique Wines on Instagram.
All right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
Royce Neely. Throw him in.
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Neely Family Distillery and at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. You've also got a company website. That thing's got to be abvnetwork.com. Check that out. Everything that we do is out there. Also, come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. You never know what we got going on there. Sometimes we find interesting stuff like this. We're like, let's take a flyer on it and get it for our customers and things like that. It's just, we can do whatever we want. We focus on single barrels, but, sometimes we like to try fun and cool stuff. We're almost to the time where we're going to be getting Becca's favorite St. George spicy pear in. That's been a holiday tradition for us since we opened, and it's very popular, and we sell quite a bit of it for the 2 months of November and December, so that'll be in the shop pretty soon as well. So yeah, just cool stuff we get around the holidays. So check us out online at abvbarrelshop.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Later.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.